Hello, good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending today's CARM open mic session with us. We are excited to be back again for our third and last session this month to answer all your questions. I'm Maria, the marketing manager at GHY, and I will be moderating the session today alongside our CARM expert, Sarah Marcotte, who is our CARM and special projects manager. So we'll begin with some important information on recent changes with CARM, key details to help you prepare for the importer financial security requirement coming up in April, which I think has been changed, and provide other value-added opportunities to take advantage of. We will then proceed to move into the Q&A session to address as many of your questions as possible. And as always, here's how we'll manage the questions during the Q&A to keep things organized. So first, we encourage you to ask your questions live. To do this, please use the raise hand feature by navigating to the top of the Teams window, and I will call on those who have their hands up. Once we call on you, please turn on your microphone and ask your question, then turn it off again when we either have completed answering your question or after you've asked your question and have nothing further to add. So if you prefer not to ask your question live, that's okay. You can type your question into the Q&A section. We will alternate between those live questions and those in the chat, making sure to address everyone in turn as best as we can. So after the session concludes, we will be sending out links to access the recording of the session, along with links to some helpful resources. So without further delay, I will hand it over to Sarah.
Thanks, Maria, and welcome everybody to our third and final session for March. Maria will send out some invites for upcoming sessions. We believe we'll have one in April and probably one in May. One of the things I want to mention first, this is unofficial, but CBSA has unofficially potentially postponed the transition period from April 19th, 2025 to May 19th, 2025. So giving us an extra month, but nothing has been officially posted. It was noted in a webinar yesterday, and CSCB has been in discussion with CBSA to verify that. Because RPP is all the talk right now, or released prior to payment, that's where we'll start today. I can, again, like usual, just show a little bit of an overview of some of the main issues, questions, concerns that people have in regards to the release prior to payment and the bond requirement. So I'll quickly share my screen. So this is a demo login for Al Dewar. This is, let's say, his account. And this is going to be the main screen that you see when you log in. And this is going to be that main notification, hey, you need to do this before April 19th, 2025. I want to point out that this notification does not disappear even if you've posted your bond and your bond is of adequate value to what CBSA has noted. So that this will remain there until, I'm going to assume, the 19th. But we'll see when that disappears or if they'll update it, provided that May 20th or 19th date is the new official date. You can find out your financial information requirements in financial info and financial security. You just need to scroll down a little bit, and here it will tell you what CBSA has calculated they believe you should be posting based upon your last year's imports and reviewing your highest month's duty and taxes that you paid. So based off of that, Al had a month where he imported and paid $245 in duties and taxes, and so CBSA is asking for that to be the minimum. For anybody who has watched some previous sessions, we advised we'd posted $10 because that was 1 month that was out of the ordinary. He doesn't typically purchase that much. Therefore, we only posted a $10 cash bond, and we have requested a reduction to this amount. So if you do have an amount posted here, but you are not posting enough that CBSA has stated, you do need to go back to CBSA and say, hey, I don't believe that this is an accurate amount, and this is why. So in here, there's a little pencil the edit button. You would click that button and you would submit off a case with CBSA. And when CBSA comes back and notifies you they're reviewing your case, they will ask for any backup proof, information as to why. And really the proof just depends on what the situation is. So if it was one shipment and the rest of the month or year, sorry, was very infrequent, very small, you can say that. Say, well, this month I imported something out of the ordinary. Here's my shipment. All other months have been quite a bit lower. And CBSA can review their data and say, oh, in fact, you are accurate, and work with you to determine if they will be willing to reduce that amount. Now we had posted that, or we had started the case last, I guess, the first session, I believe it was in March. And so if we go into notifications, that's where they're going to come back to us and start the case and inquire about any information they want or what they're going to do from there. So you can see there is a case change status that was posted on the 18th. And it's just saying that there's been a status update, but there's no inquiry yet, no info for Al to send any information as of yet. So you'll see, and potentially, I believe it'll come in as an ad hoc is what it will be, the type, ad hoc request, meaning that they are requesting information from you and then you can action that. So let's see, are there any questions based on a quick little overview of how to see your financials and what you might need to post?
Yeah, for sure, Sarah. We've got one that is coming from John. So let me just quickly grab that and put that up on the screen here for everybody to see. And I will just steal the screen from you. Okay, so my CARM portal shows I have a credit on our account, but I know I do not. As we pay, we do our entries. How do I get them to correct that?
Excellent question. So let's go back to my screen here. So for just to walk through that for everybody, in your financial information and transactional history will be your best place to take a look. If you have any credits or debits, they will appear here as a plus or a minus depending on the situation, as well as over here, your account balance may say a credit amount, so a minus, or in here on your overdue balance, depending on when that credit appeared. And down here, this is where you're going to see a list of everything that you would have posted against your account. So it's very possible that you have a credit that you don't believe is accurate. I would verify here first. If you have gone through, you've checked everything that's been recently posted, and you agree, you've paid everything, there's nothing that you didn't notice, then you're going to want to file a ticket with CBSA. So you go through the ticket center and you'll have selections on what type of CARM situation this ticket is. So you can pick, I think it'll be financial, transactional information or something like that. There should be some detail there. The ticket center, and go over, pretty generic, just fill out your information. You would click on help with CARM. You're a Canadian importer and you would be an employee. And then this is where I say there's a drop down so you can pick which one. So typically in that situation would be a financial information and then figuring out which one is the best one to review. And then there'll be a box that you can fill out with a little bit of information of what you're inquiring about. And then CBSA will open a ticket and work with you to determine or let you know what may be going on with that credit, that overdue payment, whatever it might be that you're not able to determine. Hopefully that's helped out.
That's great, Sarah. Thanks for walking us through that. I will just jump to the next question here. And this one comes in from Sue. Will CBSA email us any notifications or do we need to log in and check ourselves?
It depends on how you've set up your CARM portal. So when everybody sets up their personal information for the portal, one of the questions is if you want to receive notifications. If you picked no, you will not receive any email communication. If you picked yes, then you'll receive an email, very vague, just saying that you have something in your CARM portal to action, and then you can log in and review. So again, in that section at the top where I'd gone to look at ALs and notifications, any notification will be posted in there, and depending on what it is, we'll give you a little more detail as to what it might be.
It's great. Thank you, Sarah. We've got a live question from Lily. Lily, I've turned your mic on. Did you want to go ahead and turn your mic on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
I in my portal, it shows that I have two past due invoices. So what do I do with that though? I thought GHY will look after the payment for us.
So if you have anything that's showing as past due, there are a couple things to keep in mind. One is that there are a lot of past due invoices for entries that could not be accounted for in the proper period due to a lot of um, the the issues with CARM implementation and completing a lot of the rejections that we were receiving with CBSA. Most have been cleared up, and most of those invoices have now been posted. So that could be one reason you may have an overdue where we just finalized it, but it's still going to register as overdue if it should have been accounted for in a previous month. And that would show up on your report for this month. So if that's the case, then when you receive your billing information from the accounting department, that invoice would be noted on there. If, however, and I find it unlikely in this case, but if, however, you've paid it, we would have paid it then on your behalf, there's always a possibility that it just hasn't been posted yet. And that's because when a broker pays on importer's behalf, we're paying a very large chunk, and CBSA then needs to divide that by each business number and RM number and associate it to the correct account properly. So it doesn't post immediate on the day that we pay, but they do back post it to the date that it was truly paid, so you don't end up with any overdue penalties or interest or anything like that. Being the 26th, I'm going to assume that is not the case in this situation, and I recommend reaching out to, in this case, us, and we can verify and take a look at those transactions and let you know if they're on the report that accounting sends to you or what action may need to be taken.
Thank
If you
you.
pay, yeah, so as long as you're paying whoever your broker is, I would work with your broker.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lily. Okay, we'll jump into our next question in the Q&A here from Rajan. I have two suffixes against one business number. Am I required to get a separate bond for each business number suffix?
Yes, that is correct. At this time, although CBSA's, I'm not too sure about their current webinar. They don't seem to be really discussing this in the current RPP webinars. But previously, CBSA had stated that you would be able to obtain one bond for multiple RMs, but there is no means of doing this at this time. I've spoke to several surety companies, and they must post the bond on your BN 15. And it cannot then be transferred or moved to another BN. If there's a change, they have to actually cancel it and move it to or create a new one under the different business number at that level 15. So each RM or suffix requires its own bond.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we'll jump in.
Sorry, I should actually just add in there, provided that you're importing under both. So your portal will tell you what each RM should require. I'm just going to quickly share. There isn't one on Al's because he only has the one. But again, if you go into financial here and you scroll down just a little bit more, here it's noting he has one. If you had more than one RM, so let's say RM 0002, it would tell the amount you need to post for that one. And then it will show how much you've posted against each. And this amount here up at the top will show the total coverage. just as this will show the total requirement.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for the clarity. Okay, we've got a live question from Vicky. Vicky, did you want to turn your mic on and go ahead?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, hi. Sorry. I wanted to know, is there a way we can give our broker access to the portal?
The brokers do have limited access to importers through delegation of authority. So when you register your CARM client portal, part of the activity to complete is to delegate all brokers that you utilize or all third parties, what we call trade chain partners. So that could be a consultant, a broker, that kind of idea. You're going to want to delegate them some form of authorization so that they can support you with your portal. It is limited. We do not have the ability to see everything. There's some items that are only specific to the company and employees that are assigned specific authorizations as well. If you are a client of GHY though, and you would like additional services, you can reach out to us and we can definitely discuss.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Maria, I think you're on mute.
I am. Thanks. Apologies. Okay, we've got another live question that we'll jump to, and then we'll jump back into your questions in the Q&A. Doug, did you want to go ahead and turn your mic on and ask your question?
Yes, please. I got an notification last month about K23 miscellaneous invoices in CARM, and I logged a ticket, and CBSA said those invoices are located in CARM. I'm wondering where I would navigate to get copies of those.
Great question. So for anybody who does receive a K23 invoice, what that pertains to is either a firm report or a CAD declaration report. So firm is pre-CARM. That would be when you're asking for that full report, which importers typically request when they have an audit and they need detail on all their transactions, or they're just really looking for some clear data to do reporting. And that similar report is a CAD declaration form in the CARM portal for anything CARM going forward. So the invoice that they bill out is K23. So if you're on the home screen, you would navigate to financial information, CBSA invoices, and in here we'll note any invoices. You may need to change your date range depending on how long ago you requested it. A lot of importers did request a report back in November when the system was first active. And as far as I know, those have posted very recently. Now, I'd be interested to hear, Doug. We tested with a couple clients, and for anybody of our clients, we said, well, we'll cover the cost associated because really we were just testing to see that they came up. But we haven't received the report. We received invoices, but no actual report. So I'd be curious that you receive the report that goes along with that that invoice.
Now, is by report, are you saying when you go, say we get our SOA, and then we want to look at all the entries that will qualify for that, and then we that correspond to that, then we go select a data range in the transaction history. Is that what we're being billed for every time we go
No.
into that date range you have and pull up an Excel sheet, or do we get billed every time we do that?
No, so this report in here that you export through CSV, this is your data, so you can run this as often as you want. This is to help you reconcile your account on a regular basis, and is the one area that CBSA allowed for a CSV file. What I am referring to is specifically done if you go into declarations. In here, you can see request declaration report, and it gives you options. Now, if you want a pre-CARM report, it's just going to explain to you how to file for the pre-CARM report, as that is not done through the CARM client portal because the data is not in here. But if you want a CAD report, This is where you would file for a CAD report. You have some options, or you can look for all and some advanced features, and then you would request a report. And then CBSA is to supply you with that report, and they charge for those reports. These reports take quite some time. CBSA needs to do them. I don't really know what is so manual on their end. I'm not sure because it has taken months to see the reports come in. So when you get that report, that's what the invoice is pertaining to and what you are being charged for. However, like I say, I have seen the invoices with no reports so far.
That was our case. I don't remember anyone at my company requesting that report. So it was.
Do you think Al would have? Al Dewar? Like, do you think he would have done it against yours?
I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't really matter that the invoice was only for $73 or $74, so we just went ahead and paid it.
Okay. Thanks, Doug, for your question. We've got a few more live questions. Stacy, did you want to go ahead here? I've allowed your mic to be turned on, so go ahead.
Yes, thank you. This follows along exactly what we were talking about. I requested a report, not realizing I was going to be charged for it. So very, very surprised. And so I need to pay the invoice. But did I understand that you were saying that it takes a long time even after you pay the invoice to get the report? Or are you seeing any, what kind of timing are you seeing with actually receiving the report after you pay?
Well, I haven't seen any reports, but you shouldn't be receiving an invoice until you've received a product, is what I'm saying. So I would log a ticket with CBSA and say, I have this invoice for a report that I requested, but I have not received my report.
Okay.
Because why are you paying for something if they're not
I
supplying
agreed.
it?
At first, I didn't even know what the invoice was for because I didn't realize I was going to get billed. Now, then the second part to my question is, I've logged several tickets in with CARM, and I get zero response, and they've been out there for months. Do you see that experience as well?
Oh, I mean, I have clients that cannot access the CARM client portal that have been locked out, that have tickets in since November, I think is the earliest I've heard. So the ticket center is definitely backlogged, but yet they have made that the only course of action. We used to have a email address that we could use where we could ask questions, so we didn't have to log tickets, and they've taken that away, and they've told us we must log a ticket for questions as well. So I cannot imagine how many tickets must be logged on a regular basis for brokers, importers, any trade partner, and again any importer. It's all in one system. So it has been taking some time, and I'm not sure how they're prioritizing it because originally they did have a priority order. And then we did see notification that they were now doing basically a first in, first out type situation, but that doesn't really explain a lot of the backlog. I recommend reply to your ticket you received and request an update. It puts more in the system, but that's on them. They have to be able to support you in determining what's going on.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the information.
Thanks for your question. Okay, we'll jump to another live one here. Kim, did you want to go ahead and turn your mic on and ask your question?
Yeah. Okay, so I was one of those who kicked off a report in November, and I didn't realize I was going to be charged either. But I did get an invoice not that long ago, but I did get the report as well.
And did you get the report before or after you paid the ticket?
I actually got the report before.
Yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and that is my understanding. I believe there's an actual issue. Al had, like I said, filed some as test, and we've just received the invoice. No report. So I think there's just a little bit of a function error there.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I did. When I first went in to get the invoice, it wouldn't download anything. So I had to put a ticket in for that. I think you and I corresponded. It was coincidence that I think it showed up about the time. Yeah, I'd already
Yeah.
paid it actually. So, and was allocated. Yeah, I paid it with my credit card and just allocated the payment in the CARM portal. So,
Yeah.
anyway, so I did get a report. So it does happen, but it was months later.
Yeah, it's a long time. Thanks, Kim. Appreciate the question. Okay, we'll jump to our next live one from David. David, do you want to go ahead and turn your mic on? David, are you there? While we wait for David to turn on his mic and ask his question, I can jump into another Q&A here real quick. Okay, I believe GHY posted my RPP when we signed up for CARM as the security posted shows an amount. Do I need to do anything else if the security is posted?
So if GHY was approved to assist with obtaining a bond on your behalf, then we would have worked with our surety company and filed that. And then as soon as the surety company approves it, they post that on your CARM portal for you. And as soon as CBSA approves it, it will show up in that one spot I showed on OWLS. Let's just go back to it quickly here. So as soon as something is approved, it will show up in here with the value, as well as you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and your non-cash bonds, so written security, will come in here, and any cash ones that may be posted would come in here. So if you want to just verify they are accurate, you can check in there. But as long as GHY has been approved to assist with obtaining it, we're working through them as fast as the surety company can approve them. I guess just to say, then yes, everything should be done for you.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Okay, we'll jump back into the live questions here. Mel, you've had your hand up. Please go ahead and turn your mic on and ask your question. No, hold on here a sec, just 1 second here. Okay, now you can go ahead and turn your mic on. Apologies. Oh, I see that your mic's on, but we can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, yep, sorry. Yeah, no, we're one of the businesses that haven't been able to even log into CARM yet. Do you know of a place or webpage where there's like a demo version of it where we can, log in and get familiar with navigating? Because it'd be nice to have that feel, whenever crunch time shows up or something happens where we have to be familiar with it. I thought that'd be nice.
Just to make sure I understand, so you're waiting on CBSA to support in getting you into the portal?
Yes, I've had a ticket in for a couple months and I've replied twice to it with no response. So yeah, no, I've like as you navigate these screens showing people things like, well, this is nice to get these little snapshots of what it looks like. But is there a web page or a demo space that we can have access to navigate, have a peek at what it looks like?
There is not. The only thing that I could say would be really out there would be some of the user guides, but those are going to be just screenshots of some of the areas. Just out of curiosity, what is your issue with getting logged in? Were you just previously locked out, or you haven't been able to complete?
We don't even know who our business area manager is. When CARM first kind of everybody signed in back in 2021, I think it was. I've taken over the role of who handled that before, but that person has no idea. They're like, nope, GHY covered everything. They access everything. And that's not the case. I know you guys can't do that now. So that's our first thing, because I've even checked with all the president of the company, all the people that I report to say, if you receive any emails from them, please let me know, but nothing. So.
Can you connect with me after and we'll just take a look at your account and see if there's any way I can support? Probably not, but worth trying.
Okay, yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you. I'll email you after the session.
And I can always do a walkthrough a little more with Al's site just to give you a little bit of a view of all of it. There really isn't too much. You've kind of seen it all during the sharing. It doesn't have a lot to it because really it's just a very basic site at this time. And as CBSA continues to grow, it will probably become more robust. But
Okay,
excellent, thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Mel, for your question. And just a quick FYI, we do have our CARM guide and we have some videos on there about delegating access to employees, authority. If you go back here, we've got a video here of registration. So just FYI, we do have that available. Okay, we've got another live question. Vicky, you've been waiting patiently. Did you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yes, I just wanted to know because we've never used the reporting.
Hold on. Sorry, 1 second here. Sorry, Vicky, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, you were
okay.
saying you've never used the
Yeah,
reporting.
so we've never used it, but it's something I think that we will be interested in the future. And the first question that will be asked is, how much does it cost? Is there a flat fee or is there a cost per report, depending on what we're asking?
I'm not necessarily sure because I've seen most people receiving a $65 fee, but then I've seen it kind of all over the place. I don't recall the D memo off the top of my head that does go into CBSA's charges for those types of things. I feel like I think it's D4, but that's all I remember right now.
Okay, it's fine, it's fine.
But so that reporting, I mean, that reporting, depending on what you're needing, can be of assistance, but there are a lot of other capabilities that you don't need to pay for. Your broker should be able to support with a lot of reporting as well. So you might want to start there before you start going to CBSA. You might find it something that is a lot more effective. Kim, I don't know if I can call on you. How did you find the report?
I don't have it. I don't have my portal up in front of me. Trying to remember if I got a notification or if I just went in and checked. I think where you go in and kick it off, I think in there it actually had a place where it was at. But honestly, it's been long enough ago.
Yeah. Did you find it gave you more detail than what, say, we would as your broker?
Well, I had never had a firm's report, so it pretty much though had everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely better than the other reports that are available in CARM.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it had just as much or more than the broker. But once I found out we were going to be charged for that, I'm getting them from you guys. I'm not. And it takes them so long. They're not at this point, they're just not relevant anymore.
Right.
So
yeah, you're paying for something that you're getting months later and you should
Right.
have already figured it out.
Yeah.
And so the as far as I understand, the biggest thing that the CAD report will provide is anything that's on the CAD, and a broker should have that. So the reason I'm not saying that you don't want it because there's other things on there. What the CAD report will do is provide everything, anything that is against your business number. So if you do use multiple brokers or you think there's other things, then that report is going to be your best option. I just don't know that I would recommend it on a regular basis. So you may use it for a much more broad to verify, determine what's going on your account, or if you do happen to have an audit verification, but on a monthly basis, your broker can probably support just as well.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Vicky.
Thanks, Kim.
Okay, we're over time a little bit here, but we're going to go a little bit further because we do have so many questions from the audience here, and we are appreciative of that. So we've got David. Did you want to go ahead and ask your question? Might be having problems with the mic there. Your mic is enabled, so if you just turn your mic on and ask your question, you can go ahead. But if you're having problems, that's okay. We'll hold off here, and I will just pull a question from our Q&A here. So Joshua has a question. I'm just going to share my screen here and reduce that so everyone can see it. Okay, how do I download my report once it is finally complete? When I click download, only the invoice downloads for 3 out of 4 BN15s. For one of them, an Excel report downloads, but no invoice.
Like I said, I don't know. It does not appear to be working. So I can't tell you because I requested this during testing, so a year ago. I never received my reports, never received anything to be able to tell them it worked or not. So understandably, if they weren't completing it during testing, it's hard to say where we're at right now. My recommendation would be to post or put in a ticket and request your Excel report, which can take time to get a response. When I showed you guys the ticket center, selecting what you're asking for is going to also create an answer a lot quicker. So if anybody's selecting activate my CARM portal, it's going to take a lot longer to get a response because that's one of the biggest tickets. But there should be one, I think, on reports, you should receive a faster response because it should be one of those ones that they know they can action quickly.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for
Hopefully.
just
And Josh did make a note here that I just want to point out to everybody that is very important. If you have been locked out of your CARM client portal, and why you should make sure that you log in regularly is it is actually easier to register your CARM portal than it is to ever get back in. And the reason is because for whatever reason, CBSA allows anybody to become the BAM. But once somebody cannot get into the account, you have to you have to know who the BAM is, or you need the owner, the CEO, basically somebody higher up that has signing authority to be able to provide information for you to find out who the BAM is, or to regain access in under your GC key that you would create to get in.
Thanks, Sarah, for that additional information and clarity. Okay, we've got one in here from Richard. I have received 1 to 2 email notifications almost every day, but when I log into the portal, only see a bunch of release submission notifications, and I don't know what the notification received by the email is referring to. I believe the email notification is not related to the release. Should I do anything with the email notification, and how do I deal with it?
The notifications is definitely a point of contention. I've filed several tickets with CBSA. For a while, people were receiving notifications regularly, and CBSA advised they were for past notifications that hadn't gone through. As far as I know, that backlog has all been cleared up. And I do not believe as well that you are receiving notifications for those release submissions, because that would be impossible for anybody to deal with. I don't even know why we get those notifications, because this is an accounting system and it's advising you that something's been released. Can't really explain that one, but the notification area is going to be the only place. If you are constantly receiving them, but like you say, there doesn't appear to be anything else, then again, you'll have to log a ticket with CBSA.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we will take one more question here, and then we'll be respectful of everyone's time and close it off. So maybe a kind of a duplicate question, but Sandy asks, I am one of those individuals who is locked out and contacted them as they continue to say it should be fixed soon, but that has now been 2 months. Any idea as to how I might be able to progress this request further?
Well, it definitely shouldn't take that long once you have been in communication with them. So I guess my ask back would be, have you created a new GC key and requested access to yourself through your business number? because that'll be the first step that CBSA actually requires complete. And then they say it takes, I think it's supposed to be 2 to 8 business days where they can then associate you back into your CARM client portal. So I would make sure that is done and then reach out to them again and ask for an update and say, you know, you've completed your JC key, you've requested access, but yet you still cannot get into the CARM portal.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, yeah, as I said, we'll be respectful of everyone's time. We'll follow up with those questions that are still outstanding. But for today, we'll mark this as the conclusion of our session. We want to thank everyone for attending again. As a reminder, we will be sending out a follow-up email with a link to access this recording and other resourceful links. And of course, look out for our upcoming sessions in April and May. We'll send out links to those when they're ready. So again, please reach out to us at any point. We're always here to help. Take care and goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.